I have often felt that there are some conversations that will be difficult to have with certain age groups because their life experiences might either limit or hamper the flow of communication. For example, and I'm generalizing, I'm unlikely to be talking to a 20-year-old about Frogger, dial-up, or Commodore 64s. And similarly, I'm unlikely to be talking to an 80-year-old about BitTorrent downloads or internal memory specifications. As such, I was more than a little perturbed when a Gen Z asked me about my body count. I shall explain. Now, for those of you who don't know or know it by a different name, your body count, unless you are at a serial killer convention, refers to the number of people that you have slept with. Not dated, not kissed under a mango tree at midnight, not groped in a rusty Nissan in a car park. Had sex with. Now, as I've said before, I'm old school. When I was growing up, if a girl had more than one boyfriend, she told absolutely no one except maybe her best friend, who was sworn to Pentagon-level secrecy, and if the talk of numbers ever came up, it was downplayed. Now, I'm talking from a girl's perspective. I don't know what boys were told. As girls, we were also warned against doing any horizontal refreshments on the first date. I remember my second mother telling me, because back then the village raised a child, I remember her telling me, little one, never have sex on the first date. You hear me? That come like a sexing for food. You have food in your house. If you're hungry, come back home and eat. I understand now that things are different and opposite, and the more people you do the mattress jig with, the better your social standing, and that's fine. Times change, I'm not judging. It's your mukum flower, do what you want with it. But for the purposes of this conversation, I'm just trying to explain how they grow me and where I get my viewpoints from. So I'm in the mall in the cafeteria waiting for Yemen to bring out their delicious oxtail, and I saw a girlfriend of mine. Let's call her Laura. Now, Laura is one of the few millennial friends I have. Most of my girlfriends are in their 40s and 50s. Anyway, she said she was in the mall with her girlfriend and they were shopping for outfits for this upcoming soiree. She sat down and we happily chatted away. Skip ahead about 15-20 minutes, up comes her friend, a tall, vanilla latte, dark-haired girl, very pretty and in her very early 20s. She seemed irritated and just stormed up to the table and sat down, no greeting, nothing, and immediately started talking to Laura, completely ignoring me. I'm not unfamiliar with discourtesy. All rude young people do is showcase how their parents failed in the teaching my child manners department. But Laura, who was brought up properly, interrupted her and said, "Hold on, Mona. This is my friend Philogene, Mona." I gave a very cheery hello and in reply got the frostiest hello possible in the tropics. I lost interest and just leaned back while they continued to talk. Turns out Mona found this wonderful outfit, but it was a bit risky, and since several of her boyfriends would be at this shindig, she wanted Laura's opinion. At the mention of multiple current boyfriends, I raised my eyebrows, and even though I didn't say anything, apparently the temporary altitude adjustment of my eyebrows seemed to offend her. She looked me up and down and said, "Do you have a problem with my having multiple boyfriends?" To say that she had a chip on her shoulder would be an understatement. This aggressive little amoeba was currently sporting the entire lumber department of Bhagwan Singh's on her size 0 shoulders. I took a deep breath and said calmly, "I don't know you. Why would I care?" "Well, your face seems to say that you have a problem. I'm guessing because you're old and no one wants you, you have a problem with anybody who has more than one boyfriend." Laura gasped in shock and opened her mouth to say something, but I put up my hand to stop her, because if she got involved, it would likely damage her friendship with this temperamental tit, and I did not want to be the cause of it. And anyway, I could handle my stories. I looked at Mona calmly and said, "Nobody loves you, do they? That's so sad." "What? What do you mean by that?" "Well, happy, loved people do not go around talking to strangers this way. I am very loved, okay, and I am very popular. How many people have you had sex with, Or rather, how many people want to have sex with you? What's your body count?" You know what? I have seen this time and again. People your age are just jealous of that we are young and beautiful and popular, and you are clearly not. I said, first of all, sex does not equate with love. You'll find that out soon enough. But you want to play for keeps? Okay, let's play. You are not popular. You are convenient. You think sneaking around acting like some sort of stealth slut extraordinaire makes you special in some way? It doesn't. And by the way, do your parents know that you're currently squeezing the sausage at all of these men since you're so proud of what you're doing? It is my personal business. They don't need to. I interrupted her. Hold on. I turned to Laura. Do you know any of her boyfriends? Laura, who looked like she'd pay good money to be anywhere else, said, yeah, I know 4 of them. Are any of them on social media? She frowned. Yeah. I said, have any of these boyfriends ever had Mona as their profile picture? Immediately realizing where I was going with this, Laura groaned. Oh, no. I turned back to the truculent little tadpole and said, so you are currently doing 2-person push-ups with all these men and not one of them cares enough about you to publicly acknowledge you as his own? I wonder why that is. No, don't answer. I'll tell you why. Because you let these men use your body as a public utility, okay? Men enter you, drop a load, and then leave. Who can love that? You know what? I would actually genuinely and honestly have more respect for you if you're a prostitute. At least they are honest about it, and they don't think every lay is true love. It's a business. But you're walking around trying to pretend that they're virgins in whorehouses. With all this talk of women being a prize, you're not even the purchase. You're the bulk gift that comes with a purchase. All this time, they're both staring at me with their mouth open. Eventually, Mona said, shocked and obviously very hurt, "Oh my God, you're awful. You're an awful old woman. Oh my God, how could you speak to me like, how could you be so cruel?" I said, "I'm not cruel. I'm blunt. There's a difference. And besides, I haven't even tried to be cruel yet." And on that point, let me mention this. If you ever come up to against somebody like me, I believe you call us Gen Xers, do not ask us our personal business straight off the bat, okay? You haven't been on earth long enough to earn that right. And also, since we didn't grow up with participation trophies, we were never taught to pull our punches. I know people who would have eaten you raw for a transgression like that. And another thing, the next time you walk up onto a table with people, greet the table. Now, before things get really ugly like your attitude, I suggest you get up and leave. Now. She stared at me with an indescribable expression for a moment and then shoved her chair back so sharply the scraping sound echoed across the cafeteria, and then she got up and stalked off. Laura looked at me. "Oh my God, Fee, I'm so sorry." I said, "Girl, please. You and I good. You's not she. Anyway, you better go and look after your friend. She seems emotional." And promising to call me later, she ran off after her friend. Now, before you come at me and say that I was sex shaming, is that the expression, or is it slut shaming? Whatever, I was doing neither. I have female friends whose body count is in the triple digits. About that, the depths to which I do not care cannot be measured. It is your body, okay? Who you let conquer your pink fortress is your own business. But I will say this, navigating life's experiences will go quicker and smoother if you tailor your conversations depending on to whom you're speaking, because age will impact our viewpoints. And also, if you start with bad manners, things are unlikely to improve. So, tailor your conversations and be civil. Young or old, beautiful people, may no one ruffle your feathers today. Please and thanks.